Welcome to another episode of Roll Up a Pour Up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Alright, so look, for this one I'm gonna tell y'all about the time I got into it with Lil Scrappy. Yeah, y'all know who Lil Scrappy is. You know what I'm saying? Now look, before I go there, I know a lot of y'all might be like, Lil Scrappy ain't a nobody, whoopty whoop. But back then when I got into it with him, he was definitely popping. He was that dude back then. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, all the people that was popping was like Nelly, Luda, you know what I'm saying? All them type of people was banging back then. And Scrappy Ass was in the mix, you know what I'm saying? So here it go. All right. Now, I did a live about this. I told y'all when I was like 11, 12 years old, I used to skip middle school and go to this Kmart that was behind my middle school. And I used to go up there and I used to steal CDs from that Kmart. You know what I'm saying? And this is when Lil Scrappy had dropped his CD with Trillville. So it was Trillville, Lil Scrappy, you know. And they had about 15 tracks on that album. And half of it was Scrappy and half of it was Trillville. Well, the whole album together was trash. All that shit was garbage as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So when I had stole the CD, I basically turned around and sold that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit was garbage. Now, mind you, I didn't pay for it, but this how I ran up on Scrappy with it. So here go the video. I was just giving y'all a little backdrop on how he even came in contact with that damn album in the first place, right? So all right, me and my homeboys, we had caught the bus to the mall, to Northland Mall. That's how you know this was back in the day, because Northland Mall been gone forever. You know what I'm saying? But we caught the bus to Northland Mall. Me, my man's Face, and my little homie Dre. Rest in peace, Dre. And I did a live talking about him too. You know what I'm saying? But back to the video. So we caught the bus up there. We in the mall. We walking around. We in there walking around to get numbers. I did a video about that too, about how we used to just catch the bus to the mall just to get numbers. You know what I'm saying? So this was one of them times we caught the bus up there just to get some numbers. Well, while we up there, we just walking around in the circle. You know, we young as hell. We don't really got no money or nothing. We just in there just walking around peeping the scene, right? While we doing that, it was a Foot Locker in there. And the Foot Locker, it had two entrances, exits, so you can enter and exit out of one side, enter and exit out the other side, and in the middle is the Foot Locker. It had two openings. So while we walking past the Foot Locker, this little boy was in the Foot Locker and he seen us walking past. We don't know this little boy from nothing. I don't know why he ran up on us. I don't know why he was so comfortable with it. I don't know. It just was what it was. So the little boy ran up on us, right? He like, hey man, Lil Scrappy here in the mall. We still walking like, so what? We don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? He like, bro, y'all gotta come see him, Lil Scrappy up in here. We like, we don't care. You know what I'm saying? So we still walking. Why this little boy was following us, I promise you, he was following us for like 5 minutes. He just steadily trying to convince us to go see Lil Scrappy. This little boy probably wasn't no older than like 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? So he just kept saying this shit. I looked at my homies. I'm like, all right, come on, man. Let's go see what this nigga Scrappy talking about. Let's see if he really in here for real. So the little boy, he got happy as hell. He like, come on, follow me. So we turned around. We went back towards that Foot Locker. We went to the Foot Locker. We cut across. Like I said, from one side to the other side, we cut across the Foot Locker. When we cut across the Foot Locker and got to the other side, as soon as we walked out, it's still the mall, the hallway of the mall. It was the other side of the mall. Now that side of the mall had like the middle of the mall jewelry and all the fake shit was on. That was like the back side of the mall. All the fake shit was over there. You know what I'm saying? And that's where he was at. So the little boy walked us over there and he pointed. He was like, he over there, pointing at the middle of the mall jury. He over there. So we look and we see his ass. You know what I'm saying? Looking at the jury in the middle of the mall. And he had 2 big ass security guards with him. Big niggas, you know. They just posted up like this, arms folded, like they ready for whatever. While he, you know, got his fitty hat on, cock sideways and shit. You know, that was the style back then. You know, big ass clothes. It wasn't all that tight shit, you know, motherfuckers on today. You know, we were big saggy clothes, 5950s, cocked to the side. You know what I'm saying? And he had these chains on. You know, of course, they was fake if he in the middle of the mall looking at fake jewelry. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever, you know, he was doing this thing. We walked up. As soon as we walked up, he bagged up off the jury glass. He like, oh, what's up with y'all? Ooh, y'all want some autographs? Blah, blah, blah. So, my man's, he like, yeah, let me get an autograph. You know what I'm saying? So, he signed the one and shit. Then he grabbed another piece of paper, signed another autograph, like signing it to me and shit. He like, yeah, man, you fuck with me, woo, woo. You know, I'm blowing them, doing the thing. I'm like, look, man. I'm like, dog, you owe me $15. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know how most people get starstruck and shit like that. Not me. Nigga, you owe me $15 for that garbage ass CD. You know what I'm saying? Even though I didn't buy it, I told you I stole this shit, you know. But it was the whole faggot shit. I put my life on the line for that, you know. I need that 15. Fuck your signature, nigga. I need that bread, you know? So while I said that, he you know, signed his signature. He like, what? I'm like, nigga, I said you owe me $15, nigga. The nigga, he stopped. He bagged up off the table because, you know, he had to write the signature on the table. He bagged up off the table. Like, what you say? I walked up on him like, nigga, you heard what the fuck I said? By this time, his security guards walked up. You know what I'm saying? While they stood in front of him, he trying to get tough and shit. Like, nigga, you the one that bought my shit. Nigga, woo, woo. I ain't giving you nothing. Blah. He started getting tough as hell when the security guards walked up. Man, I ain't even gonna lie. I was trying to buzz through them. You know what I'm saying? These some big motherfuckers. I'm like 14, 15 at the time. Some shit like that, you know. He trying to talk crazy behind his security guards, you know. So I'm trying to buzz past him. They push me back. Instant. Psh, get your ass back, you know. I'm like, damn. So I looked at my homies. And, you know, of course, they the same size as me. So we couldn't do nothing with this nigga, you know. So I turned back around, looked at Lil Scrappy. I'm like, I'm going to catch you. You know what I'm saying? The nigga, he acting all tough. Like, nigga, you know what it is. Fuck out of here, nigga. Woo, woo. Take your broke ass on. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was talking shit. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, you know? So, went on about our business. You know, we talked about this shit. We went back to the hood. We told everybody like, oh, man, this nigga got into a little scrappy type of shit you on. Woo, woo. I'm like, man, fuck that nigga. I don't care about him being no fucking celebrity. That CD was ass. You know what I'm saying? On both sides. I'm like, Trillville was there. I would have told them about themselves too. You know what I'm saying? Because that whole album was garbage. Everybody was anticipated on this being a good album. You know what I'm saying? Because both of them came out strong as hell with their singles. Like, they was, you know, doing it at the time. But when the album dropped, the album was it was a flop. You know what I'm saying? This is why Lil Scrappy didn't, like, blow up. You know what I'm saying? Because he just had singles. He couldn't make an album. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he had to split it with Trillville when he first came out. Him and Trillville, they wasn't mixing and doing songs. You know what I'm saying? If they was, correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't recall them doing songs together. You know, Lil Scrappy was like doing his own thing. He probably had a couple features, but I don't recall him really doing nothing with Trillville, you know. And again, Trillville, they wasn't really doing nothing anyway. They just had a single or two that was popping, you know. But again, everybody was anticipating on their album because they hits was hitting. You know what I'm saying? Album was straight trash. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Scrappy be doing the little shit he be doing now to try and stay relevant. Because when he came out swinging, but he got knocked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? When that album dropped. That album knocked his ass out. So, anyway, we in the hood talking about it like, yeah, this nigga Scrappy a bitch, woo, woo, woo. Niggas like, man, you should have got that nigga, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nigga, his security guard was there. You already know I would have took him down. You know what I'm saying? I would have been the first world star. You know, if his security guards wasn't there, because I would straight would have knocked that nigga out in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? On everything. But he had security, you know, as he should. He did right. You know what I'm saying? It still kind of threw me off that he was in there looking at jewelry in the middle of the mall. But, you know, it was what it was. So anyway, fast forward to tape. This was last summer. Last summer, right? Now, in Detroit, they've been doing a lot of renovating. You know what I'm saying? So over the past couple of years, it's a strip in Detroit called Livernois Avenue. From 7 Mile to 8 Mile off of Livernois Avenue, they made that like a black-owned community. You know what I'm saying? So basically, it's a bunch of black businesses on that strip. It's a whole mile worth of black businesses on Livernois Avenue in between 7 Mile and 8 Mile. Now, one of the black-owned businesses on Livernois is a restaurant called Cuzzo's. You know what I'm saying? If you know anything about Cuzzo's, it's a chicken shack. You know what I'm saying? And it's very well known. A lot of people go there. Everything on that strip, it bangs all day, every day, you know. But I'm just speaking on Cuzzo's in particular. So I'm riding up the strip, you know, this black-owned strip. I'm riding past, I'm seeing everybody happy, you know, everybody walking around with bags, holding hands, kissing, you know, this the strip, you know what I'm saying? So I'm cruising. I'm in my Alfa Romeo, you know what I'm saying? I'm cruising, it's a good day, the weather nice, the sun out beaming, you know what I'm saying? My car freshly washed, the rims shining, the music blasting. It's a good ass day, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just cruising. I get up there towards the Cuzzo's. I'm like maybe a store away from the Cuzzo's, right? Before I actually ride past it. Right before I get to the Cuzzo's restaurant, I see the door open. I don't know why it caught my attention, but it did. So I see the door open. I'm looking at the door opening while I'm riding past. By this time, I'm like damn near at the door of the Cuzzo's by this point. You know what I'm saying? It's Scrappy. He the first one to come out the door. I'm looking at him like, is that dog? You know what I'm saying? He come out, like 5 more niggas come out behind him. I'm like, yeah, that's that nigga. You know what I'm saying? So mind you, this is years later. This is 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? So I don't got no beef with him or nothing. I didn't even have beef with him in the first place. It was just some young nigga shit. You know, it was what it was. So again, this 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? I'm riding up. I see him, right? You know, he looked up. And I don't know, I guess because my car like real rare, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot. I don't know, maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe he just looked and seen my car when I was riding past. I don't know. But while I was riding past, I was looking at him and he was looking at me. He was looking through my windshield, looking at me while I was riding past. He was locked on me the whole time I was riding past. Promise you. He was looking at me like I'm looking at him. I ain't even looking at the road no more. I'm looking at this nigga while I'm riding past him. You know what I'm saying? And he just stood there like in shock. But he wasn't like scared or nothing, you know. He was just standing there looking like he knew who the fuck I was. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, this was 20 years later. So evidently I had an impact on his career because I know he done made millions of dollars. He done been all over the place. He done came across all type of people, all type of women. He been on all type of stages, you know what I'm saying? Then came across millions of people, you know what I'm saying? But for some reason, he remembered my face 20 years later. This is going to show you no matter what you do to your face, you can't change your face. You can change your body, you can change all that, but your face remains the same, you know what I'm saying? And he remembered my face 20 years later. Who knows? If I would have happened to walk past that motherfucker, it probably would have been a brawl. Probably wouldn't have. We probably would have shook hands, probably laughed about it, and went on about our business. Who knows? But truth of the matter is, he remembered who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how it go. You know what I'm saying? But Lil Scrappy know what it is. You know, and I ain't down there, man. He probably could have whooped me. You know, I probably would have whooped him. Who knows? You know, but all in all, he remembered me 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how it be in the D, man. Sometimes people come to the D thinking that, you know, they could just do what they want when they want, and sometimes this shit backfire on them. And, you know, this ain't no diss to them. This is exactly what happened. You know what I'm saying? And my point of it is that if I didn't run into him 20 years later and we locked in like that, I wouldn't even be making a video about this. I would have just, you know, said whatever on the whole fact that me and him had the altercation in the mall. I wouldn't even spoke on that. You know what I'm saying? But it was the fact that I rolled past him just a year ago. You know what I'm saying? And he saw me in my car and he recognized my face and he was locked in on me. So just to say, all in all, through all that time that passed by, he remember who the fuck I am. It's crazy how life work, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes it be like that, you know. Salute the Lil Scrappy, you know. It ain't no beef or nothing, you know what I'm saying? I see him, he doing his thing, but again, that nigga remember who I am. You feel me? Maybe one day me and him will sit down and have an interview and talk about this shit, you know? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. I ain't tweaking. Either way it go. You know what I'm saying? But this is real shit. This shit really happened, and I'm just bringing it to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully this was something funny. You know, y'all like, damn, that for real, that shit really happened? Like, yeah, it really did happen. And, bro, remember who the fuck I am. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got on it, you know. Me and him, we bumped heads, and, you know, he still remember who a nigga is. So who knows? Maybe one day we might set up a boxing match, or we might just sit down and talk it out. You know what I'm saying? We both older and shit, you know. So who knows? Maybe this could be a good thing. I don't know. You know, maybe if one of y'all know him or something, you know what I'm saying? Tell him to tap in with me, you know. Bro know who I am. Maybe not by name and all of that shit, but he definitely know who I am by face, you know. And again, maybe one day me and him can sit down and talk about this shit. You know, that'd be funny as hell, but see what life brings. You know what I'm saying? It's been another episode of Roll Up and Power Up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured.